today's episode, we will be speaking with an astute entrepreneur, a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, a philanthropist, multiple award-winning mixologist, and the CEO of Blossom Bistro and Cafe, Miss Blessing Etifa. You are welcome to today's program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. You have had no prior experience in mixology, food handling, catering, and yet you were able to start and establish this beautiful and, should I say, thriving bistro. How were you able to navigate it, and how did you start?
Thank you very much. I feel like I have the passion for this thing, so there was no prior training or anything, right? I just started with the God-given talent I had, and then passion. So that's it basically. And then with the help of the Holy Spirit, of course.
Yeah. So how were your early experiences like? I know you have these amazing stories to tell about the times where you fell down with Chapman. So tell us about those early experiences.
It has never been an easy journey. I never got here like from the beginning. I think I started cocktails in 2013, and then of course, like I said, there was no trial, no training, nothing. I just thought, I'd love to do cocktails. Through the help of YouTube and the social media, I'm like, okay, I knew how to do Chapman, Sky Blue, let me just try out some mixes, So I was just doing it, and before we knew it, boom. But before the breakthrough, it was difficult, really difficult trying to make people understand what cocktails were actually. Being where we are, I had to convince people. I had to download a lot of pictures on the internet to show people, like, when cocktails, what's that? So I had to show them pictures, this is it, and they'll be like, if we do these things, I had pictures of what I didn't even know how to do at the time, but that was just like before my first job. But after my first job, I stopped showing people internet pictures. I started showing them my own work, and at the time, people appreciated it. Not really, but the few people that wanted to do, they were just doing it, I think, basically to just, okay, let me just support her, Excuse me. So I think that was it, but it was really, really tough getting to make people understand what the importance of having cocktails in your event. Like now, people still think it's luxury. There's malt, there's the soft can, whatever you call it, and people just feel like it's luxury. But over time, we've been able to make people know that, without Blossom Cocktails, we're having a village meeting, So that's just it. It's not been easy.
Yeah.
I remember my very first event, that was in 2013, August, Udemel Hotel, I can't forget. Exactly. Then I didn't even have no staff, no nothing. It was just me and a few of my friends. I carried the tray, and then we have professional trays, but I just used any tray without knowing. And I packed the glasses on top of the tray, and the next thing, I fell down. Me and my trays, all of us
fell down.
We fell down together. All my glasses broke. I'm like, what? But it didn't deter me at all. I just knew that, okay, it's one of those things you experience the first, second, third. But funny enough, I don't even think I experienced that kind of I didn't have that kind of experience the second job, because I had known that, okay, you don't pack drinks like that on a tray. And then even if I had not known about the professional trays, the trays you put that would stick the glasses, and the glasses would stick to, I didn't know about that, but I knew that, okay, just put like 2-3 glasses, and then when it's balanced, you move. But that first time, I just went in like that. Wow, I was just doing whatever I liked, and God really helped me, because like they said, never despise your humble beginnings. So I really, when I look back to those days, I'm like, we've come really far.
So you kind of learned on the job?
Yes, I practically learned on the job. I went to Lagos in 2015 after my law school. I was going to, I was supposed to go for a training, I'd even contacted the school, everything. The only thing I'd not done was to send the money to the school, and my friend was like, you mean you want to pay money to learn cocktails that you can just Google, you can use YouTube? She talked and talked and talked, and the fee at the time, I think it was about 45k or thereabout. She said, use that money and do something else. So I'm like, okay. And her mom too said the same thing. That's how I left it. I came back. today, if we are talking about cocktail brands in Nigeria,
Yes.
I can conveniently compete with the person that was supposed to teach me at the time, you know. But I didn't learn. I came back and all I did was surf the internet like regularly, and then I always looked up to those Lagos vendors and then some vendors outside Nigeria. A lot of them, I have them. I follow their social media. I looked at how they did their stuff, their setup, and all of that. So I tried to match mine with that. So I can tell you that my brand can compete favorably
Yes.
with any of these top brands. So that's just how we
started.
So in 2019 or 18, I think 18 if I'm not mistaken, February was the first time I ever went to any school anywhere to learn. It was in South Africa, and it was not a basic course, it was an advanced course. So it was just to amplify what I already knew, rather.
Yeah.
You know, so that was like the first and only time. Okay, no, not the only time. I think sometime in 2019 too, I went for a training in Lagos. So it was just to, you know, because I feel like whatever you do, at every point in time, you need to improve.
Yes,
you
exactly.
need to your brand has to be relevant. And for your brand to be relevant, you have to follow the trend in the particular industry you find yourself, whether in the food industry, clothing industry, whatever it is you find yourself. There are trends. And for you to be relevant in whatever you do, you have to follow the trends. So for me, I feel like if I'm not using the YouTube, whatever, if I'm not on social media or the internet, I have to go for physical training.
Okay.
You know, and it's just to update yourself. And you know, there are some clients that when they just say that, oh, this person, she actually goes for training, she does this, she does that, and they're just comfortable. They know that you know what you're doing. You know, so from time to time, just twice I've gone for any training, but prior to those trainings, I'd never gone for any, and before those trainings, I'm sure that we had covered at least 100 events.
Exactly.
Yeah, if not more. Because if I go through my books, I know that we had done more than, because from 2013 to 2018, that's a lot.
It's a lot of years.
We had done, covered a lot of jobs. So.
Your story is not complete without you talking about the time when you sold shower caps, you sold underwears, clothing items to make ends meet. What really preempted all that? I mean, and how was your experience while you were doing that?
Well, first things first, I never, looking back like 10 years ago would be 2011.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that I started doing business in 2011. Let's say 15 years back, I never saw myself as someone that would be a business person. Okay. Even my mom never thought about, like, because much younger, I had privilege to touch money. I think I started seeing money early because of my dad. He was always giving us whatever we wanted, you know. So I never thought that there would be a point in time where I will need money and I won't find money. You know, so I found out that my dad had a policy. When you're in school, he gives you anything you want, but once you have graduated, you're out of school, my sister and my brother, you are on your own. And nobody told me. So when I graduated in 2011, I stayed at home for some time and I'm like, what's going on? I'll call my dad. You tell me that there's no money. There's no money. He will not ask me, what do you even need money for? You're not in school anymore. And you know, then it began to dawn on me that, then one day I had a conversation with one of my brothers and he told me, I'm so Popsy day now, you don't know. Like, okay, so it was then and I said, okay, I need to start doing something for myself, you know. So I think we were going for clearance in school at the time, so I now started selling underwears. My school was close to Onitsha, so I go to Onitsha, buy underwears. I started with that first. Yeah, I tried because I go to the market with like 15,000. When I come back, I'll make like 30K. Okay. You know, so I'll put the 15K back, and then I'll go back. So the turnover was quite good. Then I had to come back to Yenegua after the whole clearance and everything. I think I started selling clothes. But before the clothes, I started selling shower caps. So there's this girl that was selling shower cap in my school. I think she sold one for us for like 150 or 200. I can't remember. She was selling it for 250.
Yeah.
And the address, the phone number, the contact is on the pack. So one day, and I'm like, I kept buying from her to sell. I'll buy from her for 250. I'll sell for 500 in Yenego, and people were buying it. So one day I just said, why am I? Look at the number here, you know. So I called the number. They told me 100 naira. I'm like, what? So I called them and I start buying from them. They'll send for me, and I'll sell 500 sometimes. There are some ladies I'll see, maybe all these politicians, I'll sell for them 1,000. They don't complain, they'll just buy. They'll buy, you know.
What was really spectacular about that shower cap?
It was really beautiful. It was unique at the time. Very unique. I wish I had pictures of it. Very unique and beautiful. And it was a first now. You know, the normal regular, this one is different. It's so beautiful. It comes in different designs, different fabrics. So people bought them, the hairnet and the shower cap. I sold that for some time, and I was able to save up, because at that time there was no responsibility of any sort, nothing. So I was able to save, and I was at home. So you're not buying food
at all,
you know. So I was able to save some money. Then a friend of mine started doing the shower cap business, and one day I went to one salon and I saw them. They had already bought. In fact, the salon, they were my biggest customers. Like, they used to buy from me, and then their customers bought from me too at the time. I now saw that they had bought plenty and they were selling it.
And they had crashed the price.
Yes, they crashed the price. I said, no, market don't spoil. You know, so I started thinking, what else can I do? And I started selling clothes. So I'll go to Lagos, buy and come like that till, I think I went for my NYC. But before, I don't know, I think I might be mixing up the story. I've forgotten, because I spent some time at home before I went for NYC. And even after NYC, I still spent some time at home before I went to law school. But I know that I stopped the shower cap. I started selling clothes. Now, the clothes, it was quite lucrative as well, but now somebody will buy, you just come and pack stuff worth 40,000 naira, and you tell me I'll pay you at the end of the month. You know, they keep dragging, and then I wasn't seeing the money anymore. So the business just somehow it stopped. I went for NYC. After NYC, I started thinking, I have to do, there must be something I can do. I must do something, because then no alawi, no nothing. But during my NYC, I was able to save. I didn't spend my alawi at all. So I had about 30K or 50K. So a friend of mine, I saw, she posted on her WhatsApp or so that she makes cocktails. And I called her, babe, I really wanted to do this thing like all along. You do it. Can I come for training? Or she said I should give her 80,000 naira. And that time, I couldn't even boast of 30K. Like, I said, okay, let me try and ask a couple of people. I can give you 50. She said no. I'm like, okay, it's fine. And my mom sat me down, like, every December I always make Chapman at home for them. And she's like, you make Chapman for us.
Yes.
Why don't you start with that? Start with it, then after a while, when you can afford to, you now go to wherever you want to go to for training, you know. She said that. I'm like, two other people told me the same thing. I said, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I went to Swahili Market. I think I had about 30K or so. I printed flyers, complimentary cards, and I bought glasses. Very ugly glasses. But that's what I had at my disposal at the time. I bought the glasses, and I bought nonsense trays that broke all my glasses.
But eventually, he did his work then.
Exactly, he did the work for like, in fact, he did the work from August to April, because I went to law school in April 2015. So for like 6-7 months, he did the work. And
you have been very vulnerable talking about how you started. You know, most times people just gloss over these things and make it seem as if it's just one, okay, it's God's grace. Yes, but there should have been some effort. But you have really touched on that, you know, going even back to when you were selling undies. And so how would you now respond to rumor peddlers, you know, taking your name across town that, Blessing was, you know, with this guy, with that guy, he set her up, he bought her car. How would you respond to such people?
Those things are very funny, and I feel like they're inevitable. Like my friend would say, nothing a single girl no go see.
I swear.
Yeah. I know that there are people in a scale of 10, maybe there are 8 girls that, of course, a man will give money to, and they will set up their business. And I'll still say it, if I find a man that will give me money to set up my business, I'll be very happy.
Okay.
I'll be glad. I'll collect it, because I know that the money will not waste. I'll put it to use. But you see my business, you see my car, every 1 naira, I worked hard for it. Some days ago, one man came here and he was like, Tozom, you spend so much money in this place. Do you even make money? Do you sell at all? The only thing I said, should I show you my books?
Okay.
That's the only thing I told him. And everything, every renovation, staff salary, everything, the business pays for it. If the business cannot afford it, I won't do it.
True.
I'll close it. And the only time my personal money comes into the business was when we're expanding. And there was Corona. Okay. So we're closed down for a long time. So, I mean, business was really bad at that time. So my business, my salary, my personal salary from my work, of course, came into play.
Okay.
But aside that, nobody, at least in the last 4 years, nobody can say they've given me 100,000 naira or 50,000 naira to share, do business, or to even buy something for yourself. So I don't even think it has happened. And they're not talked about enough. People don't get to see them. They are still bent on this, the old narrative, you know, Bayelsa girls are lazy. No, we're not anymore. So there are a lot of people. So I just want, in a way, showcase these people. People should see them, and there are people doing this thing. There are people, a lot of us are doing it. We've changed the narrative.
We are changing, exactly.
It's not what you used to know, you know. So that's just the whole idea.
Wow, that's very commendable, very commendable, Blessing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
So before we wrap up, Blessing is going to make one of our award-winning cocktails for me to drink. So please sit back and enjoy while she makes it, the cocktail.
Yeah, I have sugar in my glass. So I add my lime.
Can you use lemon just in case?
Yes, you can, but lime is preferable. So you heat this. That's to release the flavors of the mint. You can smell my hand.
Wow, lovely.
Do that. I'm keeping this for my garnish.
Okay.
So you model. Let me stand up.
So you're crushing it to even release the flavors.
Yes, exactly. Then you put the ice. Okay, this ice is
quite big.
No, we don't really have ice in a glass.
So yeah,
we make it ourselves. And then my rum.
Okay. Oh wow. Very generous with the rum.
Yeah, very, very. Then we go.
It's Sprite. Sorry. So in the absence of Sprite, what can we use?
Sprite is something that you get almost all the time, so you always get Sprite.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Lovely.
we have a glass of mojito.
Yay! Let me drop this on.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Alcohol is too hard.
This is the best. The best cocktail I've ever tasted, really. Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you very much. Thank you for the cocktail.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for being very vulnerable, very honest, and, you know, sharing your story. You know, when people listen to you, they can see the growth process. It's not just this magic, you know, I was there, now I'm here. So I really appreciate you for that. Thank you very
so
much, Blessing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so viewers, we have come to the end of today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. So please stay tuned, same time next week for another episode of Upshift with Benny. Bye-bye.